2019. Welcome to the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy Classic Christmas Cup. Today, the action will be brought to you from the Interlagos circuit with the Brawn GP BGP 001 from their title winning season in 2009 being the car that will be used today. I'm Luke Etheridge, and alongside me I have Ross. How are you doing, Ross?
Good. Everyone.
Looking forward to a good race, hopefully. So just waiting for the session to start now. The last few drivers are joining. If you were with us for the last race on Sunday, you will have seen a fascinating race around Monza in the 2004 Ferrari. Shelley came so close to winning from pole position. What would have been his first win of the season? It was his first points of the season. He crossed the finish line first, but unfortunately, because of penalties, dropped down to second, and that gave Sean his first win of the season. Out of the championship contenders, it was Flying Finn who did the best, managing to fight his way up from the back of the field and taking the championship lead from Lee Findlay with only one round to go. There are still 4 drivers in with a chance of winning the championship. Flying Finn is ahead on 136. Lee Findlay 8 points behind. Car Alex 25 points off the lead, and Nexus is going to need a miracle, 37 points behind. Whose situation would you rather be in, Ross? Because obviously if you're further back in the championship, you do get a bit of an advantage on the grid with the reverse grid situation.
Well, Brazil, track where you can kind of overtake quite easily, but I'd say Lee, me, because he's starting just ahead of Flying Finn. And to be fair, the other drivers behind him aren't really close enough to do anything. So I'd probably say Lee is in the strongest position.
I'd say it's definitely, I'd expect it to either be him or Flying Finn to take the championship here today. If Lee Findlay does manage to get the race victory, Flying Finn must finish in second position. There will be some other scenarios, I may go through them as the race progresses. Still just waiting for the final few drivers to connect. There is no qualifying session, as we've mentioned. It is straight into the race with the reverse grid from the championship standings. So it will be Vagno, if he attends, is on pole position. Michelangelo second, Francis third, NUFC fourth, and then right at the back in 16th place will be Nexus, and then Alex, Lee Findlay and Flying Finn behind him, rounding up the 19 drivers that we are expecting to be here today. And we mentioned a bit about overtaking at Brazil. Where would you think will be the best opportunity in these cars? Because of course this was before DRS was introduced.
I'd either say turn 1 or turn 4. Still.
Yeah, I'd say I have to agree. You can do it on the run up to turn 5, but you've got to rely on the car in front having a very dodgy exit through the final few corners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can also kind of get away with it in turn. I want to say it's turn 11. The second hairpin.
Yeah, the midfield section very tight and twisty here. It's quite an interesting contrast of tracks. You have the long main straight and the back straight, and a very tight, twisty middle sector before basically the entire third sector is one corner and a massive long straight. So it's interesting how the drivers set the car up. No custom setups allowed in this championship, the presets only, so they'll have to just make do with one of the 5 standard presets in the game. So it'll be up to them whether they go for the higher downforce setup to gain more time in the second sector where it is a bit harder to overtake, or go for top speed where they'll probably struggle more in that section but will have a much bigger advantage on the straights, which I believe, if I was in this race, that's the one I'd go for. Make it slightly easier to make my way through the field, especially if I was one of the main championship contenders.
Yeah, I'd do exactly the same.
I had a quick go at driving this car around Brazil earlier on in the day. I'm sure I didn't do as well as those you'll see in a bit. Very interesting car to drive. It was the first season, of course, where slick tyres made their return to the sport, so I did feel like it had quite a lot of grip. This was only a couple of seasons after traction control had been banned, so they don't have that nicety that they had last race out. Have you given the Brawn a try at all on this game? What's your opinion of it?
I have. I found it very difficult to get off the line, but once you get off the line, it's quite, yeah, it's quite grippy. I'd say, yeah, it sticks to the road quite easily.
To be honest, I find most cars difficult to get off the line on this game. Starting's definitely one of my weak points. Bit about the Brawn season, the legendary season that they had in 2009, rising from the ashes of Honda's pulling out of Formula One after 3 years as a full constructor at the end of 2008. 6 wins in the first 7 races for Jenson Button gave him what proved to be an unassailable lead in the championship. He didn't manage to win any more races, but was just enough to claim the title here at what was the penultimate race in 2009, the Brazilian Grand Prix. And an interesting fact about that championship, it was the second year in succession where a Brit driving a Mercedes power car with number 22 on won the championship by finishing 5th at the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Yeah.
After Lewis Hamilton managed it in a slightly more dramatic race in 2008 than the Grand Prix here in 2009. Quite a big feature of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and we could see it today with dynamic weather, is the rain, of course. In 2009, it was the qualifying session that was affected by heavy rain, and that caused Jenson Button to only able to start 14th, and it was Rubens Barrichello who took advantage of that on the Saturday to take pole position, but as usual, Rubens' home jinx struck again in the race. Didn't quite have the pace of the Red Bulls, and he suffered a puncture, so he could only finish 8th, and it was Mark Webber who took the race win here, and Robert Kubica was also on the podium, and it'll be interesting to see how he does in his comeback this year. How do you think Kubica will do this year, adapting to the new F1 cars?
I think this is the same with Russell as well. It all depends on how that Williams is, because if the Williams is like this year, I think they'll do absolutely awful, and they'll just have kind of no motivation to kind of want to drive the car. But
Yeah.
if it's better, if it's like a midfield, or if it's just slightly more competitive than this year, I think both of them will do quite well. And so, yeah, especially Kubica, because he's known to be quite good at adapting to new vehicles. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos of his driving style. He does definitely, obviously, considering the horrific injuries he suffered in that rallying crash at the start of 2011, he's adapted really well to how he drives the car. And I do agree with what you said. If Williams, I refuse to believe they can build a car as bad as last year's. They admitted themselves there was so many fundamental cooling and aerodynamic issues that they were pretty much hands tied behind the back with developing that. So hopefully they'll be able to get themselves into what should be a very close midfield battle, and that should give Robert and, as you mentioned, George Russell, the F2 champion and debutant next season, a chance to prove what they can do. Some other interesting facts about this Brawn car: 8 wins from 17 races, so helped them win the Constructors' Championship, giving Brawn a 100% championship record. Every single season they competed in Formula 1, it may have only been one, but every season they were in Formula 1, they did manage to win the title. And of course, after their takeover, they became Mercedes in 2010, and we've seen what they've managed to do, winning the last 5 titles. So the Brackley-based team has actually won 6 of the last 10 World Championships, with only Red Bull winning any others. So maybe it was just bad luck for Honda pulling out when they did. The drivers all readying up now, so just 5 seconds to go before the start of the session. 18 laps around the Brazilian Grand Prix, Interlagos Autodromo, Jose Carlos Pache.
Tongue twister.
See nice sunny screenshots there. I'm sure that's what the drivers will be hoping for after the crazy wet race we had in Suzuka, with classic cars not having any intermediate tyres. Any dodgy weather does certainly make it interesting, but it looks to be cloudy so far, but dry. So the drivers will just be finalising their setups, ready for the formation lap, and then the start of this final race of the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy Classic Christmas Cup. While we're waiting for that, we mentioned about how we think Williams could do next season. Do you think there could be any surprises in Formula 1 in 2019?
Well, the biggest one to watch out for, as I think everyone knows, is how Leclerc's going to do. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. My game's crashed.
Sure, well, we'll find a way, Ross. We will find a way. Reading through the comments, Shelley, he's hoping for full rain at the end of the race. He's clearly hoping for Brazil 2008 levels there.
Yeah. 2016 as well.
Yeah. The famous Max Verstappen showing everyone what he can do. I'm still not quite sure how he avoided crashing on the main straight way back in 2016. Yeah. And to be honest, I don't think he really knows how he avoided it. We'll take a look now at Flying Finn right at the back of the field. All the cars up ahead of him, all the 16 other cars he's going to have to fight his way through. We've seen him do it in Suzuka with mentioned it at the time, a Hakkinen-esque performance to get his way up through the field to take a dominant victory there. But with dry weather today, you'd expect it to be harder for him to make his way up the field. Any quick predictions, Ross, of who you feel could win this race?
Well, I have a feeling that Michael could run away with this, considering he is at the front. I just have a feeling he could run away with this, but it's the people at the front that I'm kind of backing more than the championship leaders.
Yeah.
Francis and Michael, really, my two.
Yeah, I feel like you're right, it could definitely be someone up near the front of the field. We saw Shelley last time nearly hold on from pole position. Will one of the championship back markers be able to claim a morale boosting victory ahead of the rest of season 16 of Apex Online Racing? Just waiting for the lights to come on now. The 5 lights are lit and we will go racing at Interlagos. Oh, already there's contact. Oh. Wagner got a terrible start. Massive and that is like carnage in the background there. Flying Finn, I believe, has got himself caught up in that. Alex and Lee Finley seem to get their way through fairly steadily, but we just saw Wagner spear off to the left, and I feel like the rest of that was caused by avoiding action. But anyway, it's
I just want to say, yeah, the 3 main championship leaders got caught up in that. The only one to come out with any damage, by the looks of it, is Lee, who is really struggling now.
Yeah, it does look to have quite a lot of that front wing missing. That is going to make it very difficult around these corners. He's up to 7th at the moment. We see Vagno going off again in the background. He's got Flying Finn's worked his way up to 8th, but Finn runs wide and that allows Sean to get back past. So Finn just got a bit caught out there, I feel, and managed to get through. Gaming Ali mentioned that the Brawn is one of the prettiest F1 cars of all time. I have to say I agree. We can see Lee Finley has pitted, in fact. He's clearly felt it's too much damage to cope with. Sean is all over the back of Flying Finn, so surely that pit stop means it's probably the end of Lee's title hopes for this time round. Other contenders, Alex in 4th place, Flying Finn 6th, and Nexus 8th, but out in front it's Michael. He's got a 3-second lead at the moment over Pedro. Big Prenta in 3rd place, holding off Alex, as I mentioned, the first of the championship contenders. We go on board with him now. NUFC 5th, and then it's Flying Finn, Sean, Nexus, VSR, and Lee Finley coming out of the pits in 10th. Quite a lot of debris on the side attack as Pedro's run wide. Pedro's made a mistake, and that allows both Prenta and Alex to get up. We said it'd need a miracle for Alex to win this championship. He may just be getting that miracle. He's all over the back of Prenta. He's being forced the long way round, as you'd expect. Will he be able to do it around the outside into the centre S? He's on the outside line, breaks later than Prenta. Still side by side, but he's got his nose ahead, and that's a fantastic overtaking manoeuvre there by Alex.
I'd just like to say, I think there's a little bit of a glitch. Francis is actually in 2nd right now, so Alex in 3rd. Michael's still leading by about 6 seconds right now, so it is Francis in 2nd right now. So.
I seem to have a few different views there. So apologies for the confusion. Hopefully it will all sort itself out soon enough. Well, there's no confusion about who's out in front. Michael doing fantastically well at the moment. As you predicted, he's just managing to stay pulling away at the moment. We see Vagno coming to the pits again. Nightmare start for the pole sitter. We saw him lose it off the line. You mentioned it was being a difficult car to get off the line, but I don't think you meant it was that difficult.
I've done that before. I would just say that. So this is interesting because Alex has got making big up Francis on my screen.
We will work with what we've got and we'll see what happens at the end of the race. I have seen this happen before where different people have differing spectator views, but hopefully it will all get sorted out. Josiah's leaving the session after his early DNF. Only him and Davidos, the 2 drivers who suffered the most in that first corner collision. Take a look now at Flying Finn. He's just managed to make his way past NUFC. He's moving his way up the field. Pedro will be his next target.
Oh my god. What have I just witnessed? I've just witnessed Francis's car just flying.
Michael sets another fastest lap. There's Francis, the mystery man, the ghost car. Seems to be struggling quite a bit. On my screen he has just been passed by Lee Finley and now appears to be in the pit lane.
Oh, he's got a speeding penalty in one.
So yeah, Francis with a speeding penalty. That's going to ruin his chances of the race so far. We look at last week's winner, Sean, down in 12th position at the moment. It's not going as well as I hoped, and indeed Francis has left the session, I believe, so obviously he's also suffering from whatever we've seeing connection issues unfortunately costing him, as Sean going to have a move on Casper down the inside into turn 3. They're still side by side, but you don't feel like Casper's going to be able to hold on. No.
Right, he comes back now.
He's coming back. Is he able to do it on the inside? No, just not quite enough. I thought Sean had done it early on there, but Casper I think did well to hang on as long as he did. We'll have a look now at the battle for second position between Alex, Prenta and Pedro. Pedro was in second, of course, before his mistake earlier on. He's desperately trying to get back up into that position. With the positions as they stand at the moment, second place would not be enough for Alex. It would still be Flying Finn who would hold on. Get very, very interesting though if Alex was able to catch up to Michael, but it's 9.3 seconds already after 6 laps. Feel like that's going to be too much of a task.
Yeah, Flying Finn, for Alex to win, Flying Finn has to finish 7th or lower, and Alex has to win the race, so it's big uphill time.
Yeah, Finn's already pulled about 4 seconds over NUFC, so unless he makes a mistake, you'd have to feel this championship is his. We watch the second place battle come over the line for lap 7. We'll have a quick run through the order again. Michael 9.5 seconds ahead now. Alex second position, then Prenta and Pedro and Flying Finn close behind. NUFC and Nexus, Lee Findlay down in 8th place after his pit stop earlier, and JR Games, Sean round out the top 10. The other runners still in this race, Casper, Stixel, Francis still going around, but he will be AI now after leaving the session, and Vagno in last place.
Yeah, Wagner's been lapped by everyone, and he's actually in the problem being lapped second time, so I don't know what's happened to him, but well, he crashed on lap 1, but
yeah,
since then I don't know what's going on.
Crash on lap 1. I did see him mention on the forum that he was struggling last race quite a lot with lag, so maybe it's just got too much and he's just driving him out and trying to keep himself out of trouble, but still earn a few points for pride in the championship. Flying Finn has latched himself on to the back of Pedro. Now he's definitely the one to watch. 0.6 of a second is the gap behind that. Nexus has just managed to get past NUFC as well. It's closed up quite a lot there, Finn. Pedro's going to have to go defensive, you feel, into turn 4. He's not even...
Massive slipstream. He lifted up, I don't know.
Yeah, huge slipstream there. You have to feel Pedro either missed a gear, came very close to running off track there. Pedro must have either missed a gear or, as you suggested, just lifted off, realising it was a battle. He's not really going to win at the moment. Flying Finn, of course, in the normal leagues is 3 tiers ahead of Pedro, so he'd expect to have a lot more pace than him. Next target for the Finn is Prenta, just 2 seconds up the road. Michael sets the fastest lap of the race. First man in below the 1 minute 10s. 1 minute 9.990, 10.5 second lead. He's definitely got the car exactly where he wants it at the moment. Kind of fitting that Michael is winning, of course, on the 50th birthday of Michael Schumacher. His first final race around Brazil back in 2006 was a fascinating one to watch as he fought back from a puncture to get 4th on the race. Not quite enough to win an 8th title, but was definitely a fantastic drive.
I don't quite remember what happened in this second final race. From him anyway. I know what happened for everyone else, but...
Yeah, I remember him letting Vettel by. That's about...
Yeah, I remember.
Well, I think that's yeah. Unfortunately, quite a lot of his second career in Formula 1, shall we say, was pretty forgettable. And Michael again, another fastest lap, 1 minute 9.8. Definitely not losing focus. 9 laps to go. 11-second lead. Just keeps it clean, and he will get his first win of the season. And first points as well.
Yeah. I can't remember he's done that. Won one race since their only points of the season.
It's one of the, I think, fascinating things about this championship. Different cars, reverse grids. You're going to get different races and tracks, obviously, that suit other drivers, especially if they've turned up to the series late and not been able to do a full championship. You could get some fascinating results. Got yellow flags in Sector 1, but they've cleared pretty quickly, so nothing for these to worry about. One of the battles further down the field, Schnitzel is all over the back of Casper for 11th place. Not able to have a dive down the inside into turn 4. It's too far back field to have a go around the rest of the tracks. He's probably going to have to wait until the end of the lap. Just be patient. I'll hope that Casper makes a mistake. Further up, there's a battle as well for 9th place between JR Games and Sean. Flying Finn is slowly reeling in Prenter. He's got the gap down from 2 seconds to 1.5. But I feel like getting any further up the field than that is going to be a challenge for the championship leader.
Well, Sean's gone for it. Late on the brakes, very late on the brakes, and side as we go into turn 2. Sean is slightly ahead, but JR Baker is going to come back with the switch back now. They get very close as they exit turn 3. On the run down to turn 4, who's going to stay ahead? I think Sean is just going to come out ahead of this one, so Sean up into 9th.
Yeah, great side-by-side racing. I feel like there was a slight bit of contact maybe, but not enough to cause any major problems for the two drivers. And Sean has made his way up to 9th place. Other moves through the field as well. Lee Finlay just making his way past NUFC to claim 7th at the moment. Schnitzel dropped back a bit through Casper. I think I saw JR Games get very sideways there. We came close to losing the car. He's only 7 seconds now ahead of Casper, who was about 8 and a bit before that slide. So we hope to keep it careful for the rest of the race. Into the final third. Soon enough, Michael still ahead. As it's been mentioned by More Than Amazing, he's on another level at the moment. 12.1 seconds, just steadily building that gap. Took advantage of the bad start from Vagno and Francis's connection issues and looks to be cruising to victory. He's crossing the line to start lap 13, 6 laps remaining. See, very smooth through the car. You can hear the engine notes rising. V8s used in 2009. It was the Mercedes in the back of the Brawn. It was quite a challenge for the engineering team at Brackley to get this Mercedes engine into the car. It was of course designed for the Honda unit, so quite a few changes had to be made. Had to design their own gearbox as they couldn't use the McLaren one as some of the other Mercedes customer teams did. And saw some yellow flags pop up there quickly, and Casper has dropped down the field, so the spin most likely for Casper that allows Schnitzel to make his way up to 11th. You'd expect Casper to be safe in 12th position though.
Yeah, Casper, I just went on board with him and I saw his tyres. Yeah, he's coming to the pits now, so it's something's gone on.
Yeah.
It looked like it got perhaps or something, but I don't know if it's the front changes. No, it's just a tyre change, so
Yeah, just
a fresh set of tyres, and yeah, he'll be comfortable in 12th.
Yeah, perhaps thinking that after that mistake might just be worth going out and seeing what he can do to try and take the fastest lap from Michael, who has just set another one. 12.3 seconds now, the gap out at front. from Alex, who's managed to hold off Prenter. Flying Finn's dropped back again to about 2 seconds, and then Pedro, Nexus, Lee Finley, NUFC, Sean, JR Games, Schnixel, Casper, who's on your screen at the moment, and then VSR and Vagno, the final 2 runners.
Oh, actually, Sean's just in the fastest lap of the race. We'll see what Michael does to respond to that. Going to take some beating.
Yeah, Sean determined to show that the win at Monza wasn't just a one-off. You see him now catching up to the back of NUFC for 8th position, as NUFC's ran very wide, in fact, on the run-up to turn 5, and that gives Sean 8th place. Perhaps easier than he was expecting, but I'm sure the Dutchman will not be complaining about that.
Yeah, very, very easy for Sean to get through there. NUFC just running wide slightly. And wide quite a lot. But yeah, Sean through now, and he's got 3 laps to try and push after Lee. Oh, 4 laps, sorry.
There's 6 seconds to go. It's going to be difficult, but we have seen him set the fastest lap, so he'll be definitely giving it his all. It's quite easy, I feel, to run wide into turn 4 with the downhill braking zone. You could easily just lock up a wheel and find yourself going into the enormous runoff. Ooh. Thought we were going to see some Verstappen knock-on style, how not to get lapped / how not to lap a car then, depending on your viewpoint, but just moving through the ghost car pretty comfortably. Heading on board now with Flying Finn, still staying at about 2 seconds behind Prenter, not in any danger from Pedro behind, dropped back quite a bit, so perhaps feeling that he doesn't need to risk too much. Quite a few corners around here where it's so easy to just put a wheel on the grass, could end up in the wall, and that would ruin his championship chances. So maybe Flying Finn deciding discretion's the better part of valour and just taking it fairly steady and not making any unnecessary risks.
Yeah, it's kind of like Button in 2019. Just taking it steady. Obviously,
yeah.
he also had to fight his way.
Yeah,
through, but
yeah, had to fight his way through the back. We were talking about Sean perhaps getting close to Lee Finley. Well, Lee's responding and he's trying to make sure he can get past Crow Nexus here. So Lee trying to move his way up the field to go on board, now battling for 6th position. Stixel there just getting himself a time penalty, shouldn't affect him too much though. See Lee struggling to get the grip down, and this car following Crow Nexus here. Further back, JR Games manages to make a move on NUFC. That's JR up to 9th position now. So as we mentioned,
I don't think Lee's going to be close enough down into turn 1, but he could, if he's close enough through turn 1, he could be off a move into turn 4, and Casper actually retires from this Grand Prix.
So yeah, Casper retires. Yellow flags as well make me feel there's been an accident. I think Crow Nexus definitely thought Lee Finley was close enough there. We saw him go very defensive at the early part of that straight, and when there wasn't really any need to, and that has compromised him as they pass the wreckage of Casper's car. Lee's on the outside. Is he going to be able to do it all the way around the outside around turn 5? Fantastic move.
Oh, he's not done yet though. Cronexus wants to come back at him, and there is wing damage for Cronexus there. Slight bit of end play comes off. I was going to say the Brawn driver then, but Brawns.
Yeah,
Cronexus front wing damage on the penultimate lap of the race.
Yeah, shouldn't affect him too much, so you'd feel at this point. But out in front now, Michael has driven a fantastic race from the start after the chaotic start Vagno spearing across the track. He managed to avoid that. Quite a few drivers got caught up in that. Most importantly, Lee Finley having to pit on the end of the first lap. Perhaps ruined any chances we saw of the championship contenders fighting together. But Michael will not care one bit about that. Round the final corner to take the win. Round 5 of the Classic Christmas Cup. A dominant drive. And further back, it should be Alex crossing the line in second position. But it's going to be a very interesting fight for third. Alex does take second and Prenter just hanging on. Finn catching up a lot on that lap. And that fourth place, enough for Flying Finn to take the championship in this very short 5-race series of the Classic Christmas Cup.
Yeah, we didn't exactly get the battle for championship lead that we expected, but yeah, unfortunately Lee got caught up in the incident, and Flying Finn actually managed to avoid all of them, so unlucky to Lee, and well done to Flying Finn.
Yeah, you definitely need talent to win championships, but luck does help as well. So that is everyone now across the line. You mentioned a dominant performance from Michael, a proper Schumacher performance, as it has been mentioned in the stream. He will be absolutely delighted with himself there, and he'll be hoping to carry that forward in future races. Definitely the driver of the day for you, do you say?
Michael, yeah, definitely.
They're celebrating there on the podium. As mentioned, his first points of the season as well, coming in as a reserve driver, gave him a more preferable grid slot in this race. So the final standings then, before any steward inquiries: Michael, as we mentioned, winning. Alex, good performance for second, but not enough to take a championship battle. Prenter in third. Flying Finn securing the cup with fourth position. Pedro in fifth. Lee Finley recovering to sixth place after his early pit stop. Nexus seventh. Sean in eighth. NUFC ninth. JR Games, Schnitzel, Francis and Vagno the final finishers. We saw Casper crashing out on turn 4 towards the end of the race, and then Shelley, Josias and Daridos all retiring early on, with Josias and Daridos being caught up in that first lap carnage. There was quite a few smaller battles throughout the field. Definitely not the action-packed race we saw in Monza, but still good to watch the faster drivers, shall we say, having to fight their way up the field, especially after the early pit stops for drivers such as Lee and Sean. So yeah, fantastic race there from Michael, as we've mentioned. Credit to Alex as well for trying everything he could to try and force Finn maybe into a mistake. I'm sure Finn might have been a bit more worried about the championship if he know that Alex was winning that race, but he just wasn't able to cope with the pace that Michael showed today. Other good performances as well. Prenter doing well. Another driver who's quite midfield in the championship as well. He avoided most of the first lap carnage, managing to hold on to second. Pedro, I'm sure he'll be gutted after his early mistake. Do you think this will give drivers such as Michael and Flying Finn like confidence going into the rest of the AOR season?
Yeah, it has to, because especially from Michael, a driver like that knowing you can come in for one race and dominate like that, surely has to give him a lot of confidence. And for Flying Finn winning against a few of the quickest drivers on this console, surely massive confidence boost.
Yeah, him and Alex are the two drivers both in the top tier, so he'll be happy that he's got one over him this time around, and he will be hoping to get one over him again on Sunday when Season 16 of the Hype Energy F1 2018 Leagues returns. It's round 11, the German Grand Prix. PlayStation 4 Tier 1 coverage will start at 7 p.m. on the Apex Online Racing channel. The PC Tier 1 is 8 and Xbox Tier 1 9. All lower tiers across all three platforms will be at 8 p.m. and we hope we can see you there. But it's goodbye from Ross.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. I hope you've all enjoyed watching this fascinating Christmas Cup.